Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? I bet you don't. Welcome back, spooky souls, to another episode of Let's Talk Spooky. As always, I'm your host, Shauna, and if you've just stumbled upon our little community of spookies, welcome. This podcast explores the space where folklore, urban legend, and haunted history come together. If that's something you want to hear more of, click that follow button wherever you listen to your podcast, and leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Tonight, we're going to take a walk back in time, not too far, just to our childhood, where we're going to look at how singing innocent songs in the playground or comforting lullabies sung at night might have been uncovering a darker folklore or forbidden history. This episode is about warnings in disguise as lullabies and strange truths hidden behind our favorite, beloved nursery rhymes. So grab your flashlight, lace up your shoes, and whatever you do, don't follow the Muffin Man. And let's talk spooky. Three blind mice, see how they run, see how they run. They all run after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tail with a carving knife. Did you ever see such a sight in your life? As three blind mice. Now, though gruesome slightly in nature, the history it references was much darker. In 1553, Queen Mary I of England ascended to the throne after the death of her father, King Henry VIII. But it wasn't the change in a monarchy that sent England into chaos, but the values that Mary sought to reinstate. To restore Roman Catholicism after her father had broken away from the Pope and formed the Church of England with his marriage to Anne Boleyn. Though her rule was short of only 5 years, she managed to inflict a level of brutality that wasn't matched until the witch trials of 1642, killing and burning nearly 300 Protestants. Now, I know that sounds a bit like a history lesson, and I promise you that there is a purpose and a theme here. But the tale of the mice actually really has nothing to do with mice at all. Three prominent Protestant figures that are believed to be the inspiration for them: Nicholas Ridley, Hugh Latimer, and Thomas Cranmer, who after an attempt to overthrow Mary were executed by her order on October 16th, 1555, earning her the more commonly used name, Bloody Mary. Now, if you're thinking about the rest of the rhyme, specifically the blindness of the mice as a fun little add-on, well, that can be explained through history as well. You see, it's believed that the reasoning behind the title given to the three prominent Protestant bishops was not that they were literally blind, but spiritually blind, at least to the Catholic truth that Mary's regime sought to reinstate. I'm going to add a little bit more creep to that tale. Though not completely proven in the historical records, it is believed that before burning the three men, Mary did blind, dismember all non-essential parts of their bodies. So, yeah, Bloody Mary. Now, the blade in the rhyme isn't literal either, but more a political symbol. It's a warning against stepping out of line, and a reminder that the crown could clearly sever you and your place in history if you chose to stand against them. There is one more nursery rhyme that kind of keeps to the theme of Bloody Mary, and I want to share that one with you too, because I bet you've sung it a number of times in your childhood. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Cute, right? Picture kids dancing in a playground holding hands while chanting the catchy melody. But where the previous rhyme dealt with the uprising of power, this one focused on the widespread dislike of Protestant followers, hensing the phrase, Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Her viewpoints on Catholicism prompted one of the bloodiest reigns on the English throne, and as mentioned before, killing nearly 300 Protestant peoples. And that many bodies, well, you gotta put them somewhere. So mass burials were generally needed. Or a garden, shall we say? Maybe one of the dead. Now you're probably wondering, okay, where'd the silver bells and cockle shells come from? They sound pretty, like a necklace. Nope. These were torture devices that were used to gain confessions before the prosecuted were burned at the stake, all in a row, if you catch my drift. There is an argument that the accounts of the rhyme where the pretty maids all in a row could actually be more referring to the ladies in waiting who historically did help Mary carry out her grim work. It also has been argued that it could reference some kind of guillotine or form of execution, but there is no historical records that a guillotine was ever used, so I'll leave that one for you guys. Regardless of the version, it's not hard to see that during the time that folklore and fear became a survival tool, riddles and rhymes were ways to speak the truth in hushed tones without attracting the blade or flame of prosecution. Now, our next rhyme is a bit of a strange one, almost absurd sounding, really. But it's probably the hardest one to historically decipher. Hey diddle diddle, the cat in the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. It's like a dream that doesn't make sense after you wake up. But for a rhyme passed down for centuries, Hey Diddle Diddle had more than a few unsettling theories attached to it. The first theory was its purpose to actually help with crop planting. You see, books and literacy skills were a privilege of that time, reserved for high status and high wealth individuals. So it's not uncommon that in order to properly pass down knowledge, especially of the planting season, small songs or rhymes were passed down through families instead. This ensured that the times for planting were followed and the family's prosperity continued. Many scholars have pointed out that the symbols could actually be translated into constellations. For the night sky during peak planting times, each character within the rhyme representing its own constellation and its proximity to the moon, making it a catchy way to share knowledge and ensure one's livelihood. This theory has not necessarily been proven historically, and it is one of the more milder interpretations of the rhyme. But we're here for the dark stuff, right? So let's dig a little deeper. What if the song wasn't simply a song for fun? What if there was a hidden message during a time when one's beliefs could easily have you killed? In pre-Christian Europe, the moon governed more than the tides and the light. It ruled the seasons, cycles, fertility rites, and much more. Full moons were seen as sacred, aligned with sowing, reaping of crops, birth, and even sometimes death. Each aspect of the rhyme taking us a little deeper into a forbidden time. It was common at the time that a cow symboled divine energy, fertility, and the earth's abundance. In many Indo-European traditions, including Celtic and Germanic folklore, cows were sacred to the goddess, deities that watched over fields, children, and the rhythm of life itself. So when the cow jumps over the moon, what we're seeing may be an echo of a ritualistic moment in time, an act of divine communication, or maybe chaos. The normal order of nature disrupted, and a sign that perhaps an imbalance between the heavens and the harvest are taking place. Now, the cat playing the fiddle seems probably the oddest part, although the spoon and the plate maybe too. But cats, especially black cats, have long been the symbol of witchcraft and by extension of hidden feminine energy. And the fiddle, or lute as it was called in ancient lore, was also believed to stir emotion, conjure spirits, and even summon madness. In some traditions, string instruments were forbidden during holy days, considered too seductive and too dangerous. So if we pair the two, a cat and a fiddle, you might just be looking at a reference to a ritual conjuring, or maybe a symbol of forbidden knowledge. And finally, in some folktales, when a house falls out of favor with the spirits, tools of the home, such as plates, cutlery, even firewood, would vanish, break, or in some tales, even become animated. So when the dish runs away with a spoon, we might not be looking at a love story turned or a royal deception, but it might be a sign of something more ill-fated. The spirits might have abandoned a household, or a warning of disruption, famine, or something darker taking root within the home may be noted. When Christianity spread across Europe, old festivals and folk practices were often banned and burned out, or buried under layers of acceptable storytelling. Many folklorists believe that rhyme hey diddle diddle survived by transforming and hiding folk traditions behind absurd imagery, turning ritual into rhyme, and making the sacred sound silly. But the shape of it remains: the moon, the cow, the music, the vanishing spirits of a hearth. So if hey diddle diddle truly came from old traditions, then it's not nonsense at all, but a ghost of the old world, still singing, still warning, and still watching from beyond the veil. There are many ideologies of what hey diddle diddle truly represented, so much so that I could have done an entire episode on its hidden meanings, even dating back as far as medieval imagery, before the rhyme was even placed upon paper. But today, I'll leave you with these few interesting theories and encourage you to do your own exploration. And maybe we'll revisit it one day. There is one more nursery rhyme I want to sing to you, and I'm sure it's one that you never thought held the darkest legend of all. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? It's probably one of the most cheerful childhood nursery rhymes, and I'm sure we're all currently stirring up images of the cute little gingerbread man from Shrek. I know I am. According to folk legend, this innocent-sounding song may have started as a warning about a man who didn't just deliver baked goods, but terrorized the streets of London. There's no surviving police records of a Muffin Man serial killer. So as we explore this legend, I want you to open your mind to a time when dimly lit streets and extreme poverty left opportunity for fear to breed legend. London was rampant with child disappearances, poverty, and street vendors who came and went with little oversight. So it's not unimaginable that there was plenty of predators lurking behind innocent masks. There was a story that seemed to fit the profile of the time, and the similarities to the catchy rhyme are quite eerie. Its origins not embedded in fact and history, but lives through generations of folklore and urban legend. Between 1589 and 1598, there was said to be a local baker who owned a profitable bakery on Drury Lane in London. There are several different versions of this tale. I'm going to tell you the most popular. Frederick Linwood was a quiet man with a crooked smile and a stout, dusty apron. By trade, he sold warm muffins at the popular bakery spot located on Drury Lane, London. It was not uncommon for him to be seen during deliveries handing off warm muffins to hungry children he met on the street. But it's when the children started to vanish, one by one, that the bells stopped sounding so sweet. Some versions, he used muffins to lure them, tying a string to a muffin and waiting at the end of a narrow alleyway. Others whispered of what he baked into his batter, including not only missing children, but several competitive bakers that sold within proximity of his store. By the time locals realized what might be truly happening, it was much too late. They say the alley behind his home smelled of yeast and rot, and the chimneys never stopped smoking, even after they found the cart overturned and his doors swinging open, abandoned. He was never caught. No police investigation took place, just a chilling jingle that parents used in hopes their children would never answer yes if they knew the Muffin Man. Again, there might not be historical documentation of a real Frederick Linwood. In fact, it does seem pretty plausible that his persona was an internet creation, but the real lesson of the rhyme was much deeper than any real individual's existence. It was truth in a warning, one that even in today's world can still hold a deep meaning, a parental signal masked in melody, something safe enough to sing aloud in front of children, but laced enough with a meaning that might spark concerns with adults. This idea that the song's rhymes were used to spread information was a recurring theme in folklore. When communities didn't feel safe speaking plainly, they encoded truths in lullabies, nursery rhymes, and even games, a way to preserve memory or to protect the vulnerable without sounding the alarm. So is the Muffin Man real? Yeah. Not the serial killer version. Likely, it was just a bell-ringing vendor with a hot bread and baskets. But through the strange magic of folklore, imagination, and fear, he became something else entirely. Once a tale that sinks its teeth in suddenly doesn't matter if it's true. It matters if it's remembered. So the next time you hear a nursery rhyme, whether it's hummed in a playground or whispered before bed, ask yourself, was this really just a song? Or was it something more? Because folklore doesn't preserve culture. Sometimes it protects us. It carries warnings through generations, and sometimes it sings those warnings so sweetly that we forget to notice the chill that runs down our spine. Until next time, sing softly, turn pages of old storybooks with care, and never forget, the old rhymes often carry the heaviest truths. And as always, stay safe, stay curious, and stay spooky. This episode was written and produced by me, Shauna. If you have your own eerie tale or haunted hometown story, please email us at letstalkspookypodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us over on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time, stay spooky.